RJTI charts versus those that call or jump on the bandwagon versus who got the downturn right besides words. If you're an $11 trillion firm or some fund money manager calling for a further decline for the DJ30, S&P 500, NASDAQ 100 for year 2025, then that's great. And yet it does matter when you said to sell. What can you show that shows exactly your sell signal or how you offer such levels to sell 4 or 5 months ago or even over the last 3 months? Like take for instance, Mark Shotkin, Robert Kiyosaki, who offered the markets would fall at some point. But isn't it true anyone can say the markets is to go up or go down, and yet one should be able to demonstrate your actual buy signal, or in this case, your actual sell signal, as opposed to parsing your way into position for optics. See, I was right. I told you the markets were going down. If you watch the financial media or read the financial papers now, all of a sudden you see more and more of the prominent on Wall Street portray that they saw the year's 2025 downturn coming and they stepped to the plate. Yeah, we think the market has the capabilities of falling further or blah, 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 blah. What we think is that one should show your evidence that you sold at the top when most fund money managers were thinking trade was headed to 6,300 to 6,500 S&P 500, or when the video was to bust to $200 a share, like Jim Cramer and a few other told you. Go all in on the video 3 to 5 months ago. Well, your first sell signal for Apple was at $257.84, and your second was at $244.31 a share. All we're saying is that either the fund money manager saw it and acted on it at the appropriate time, or they didn't. Warren Buffett warned, and again, is a smart investor, right? And although it was reported he dumped a lot of shares from several companies and increased his cash, it still remains to be seen if he assumed short positions also based on his expected downturn that he had been warning about, similar to our warnings. But there's a difference from all of the latter for those mentioned, and it is until it's proven differently by them. And the difference is that this little but powerful firm, RJTI Charts, told you, warned you, and have shown our evidence. We pumped out our sell signals while most called us insane and uninformed. We told you over 6 months ago, while most of the street was riding a white pony up only markets expectations, and more importantly, we again have picked the top selling areas for the 6th time. Years 2000, 2008, 2018, 2020, 2022, and although this could be short-lived, we've picked the top selling levels for year 2025. And we told you we were going to do it. Morgan Stanley's Mike Wilson downside target was 5,500 SP 500, and we have vehemently emphasized that this isn't the bottom, and our provided documentation shows we picked this 5,500 target as one of our downside targets months ago. And yet we've offered that even lower trade levels remain in the deck of cards. So I guess what we're saying is that we don't agree with Morgan Stanley's downside target at 5,500. SP 500 is the bottom, if this is their case. How could we have known such was coming without looking at any earnings reports or anything else? Our algorithms, again, are based on the laws of physics and mathematics. They are uniquely built to identify when fundamentals have stepped outside of such norms, subsequently causing overbought or oversold conditions. And when such happens, physics and mathematics says enough is enough. and command such to fall into the norms, or should we say under the normal bell curve. Yes, sometimes things can linger more, but physics is superior, and although such can be detoured, physics will always find a way to meet its destination. Take, for example, if you review matter between years 2020 to 2022, as if it could defy physics from such insanity. Yes, the rally that took place as if it could defy gravity. We got our sell signal at $381.50 and watched matter fall to $88.09. It had nothing to do with us being smart, but it was physics offered that the rally during 2020 through late 2021 was defying the laws of mathematics, which is the case as of this matter present rally since 2023. And the downturn where we've gotten our meta sell signals are at 736 and 7 cents, 718 and 56 cents, 704 and 36 cents from various chart time frames, is again an attempt from physics to correct the insane rally for matter year 2025 that's dating back to late 2023. Here's something very important. Our bearish outlook was established before President Trump even took office, even before his implemented tariffs. And he is part of the unknown variables that tend to surface and takes on becoming a variable of reality when physics has deemed correction is necessary. It could have been the banking industry or a global event to unfold that became the variable to help physics to work toward its goal. You see, our physics approach only identifies that an event must take place, and it relies on the fundamentals to bring forth the reasoning for such. And in this case, President Trump's actions can be justified as the reasoning. Does that make sense? But before we dive into our illustration, here's some others that may have cried wolf like us or are now proclaiming their bearish outlook. And again, to talk about a market is to move down is different than actually putting out a sell signals that show you exact time you committed to your bearish outlook. Some that come to mind are Bill Smead, Citibank, BlackRock, Doug Cass, Robert Arnett, Keith Lerner, Dan Niles, David Einhorn, all cried about a coming or present outlook for the recent drop of the S&P 500. Here's our claim. We didn't wait until things unfolded to portray our idea that the markets were to move down. And we're not peppering media or newspaper about what is to come. We simply prepared you, and then we provided you with exact turnaround points, and then we illustrated our sell signals in the following order. Number 1, preparation. On August the 16th, 2024 at 1:44 a.m., we sent out RJTICHARTS versus why are we 99% certain we are right that a major downturn is going to occur regardless of Wall Street's optimism. August the 26th, 2024 at 9 p.m., we sent out RJTICHARTS versus why it is impossible that a downswing for indices at some point is unavoidable. On September the 23rd, 2024 at 3:55 p.m., we sent you this beautiful chart as it is written in yellow. We don't think one can see like us or have our tools to understand that this rally is predestined to deteriorate. We are 99.85% sure that the higher the rally goes, the harder it is to fall. We are certain that a down market will surface regardless of FOMC policies or earnings reports or NVIDIA. And as you can see, upper left-hand corner, our 119 years of history that shows the blue line in the green box below has always crossed to the downside at some point. Let's take a look at this. At the bottom there, you can see that the blue line is above the red in the green box. The red circle shows that we had a decline afterwards where the blue line crossed the red line below. Then the second one, green box, where blue was above red. And eventually in year 2022, the blue crossed below red. Has nothing to do with earnings reports. And as you can see in 2024, we're looking. And one of the reasons we're telling you, hey, this market is going to fall is because history has shown that before this same type of position that we were eventually going to get a crossing of the blue line below the red. And if you look on the chart there, you see at that time, the closing price was $57.80. And as it stands as of March 17th, 2025, price is below that level. Number two, exact projected turnaround points. On 9/26/2024 at 5:50 a.m., we sent out RJTI charts 82%, 91%, 97%, 103% stock market top call. We give you the numbers where there's an 82% chance that the indices would top out in one of these brackets. We also provided you the 91% probability. We provided you the 97% probability. And we provided you the 103% probability. So here's what happened from our detailed top calling based from that September 26, 2024 at 5:50 a.m. Well, twice the Dow fell within our 97% bracket with its highs. As you can see, in December, we hit a high that was in our bracket, got a sell signal, and then again in February, the highest point fell in our 97% bracket. Here's what happened from our detailed top calling from that same 9/26/2024, 5:50 a.m. The S&P 500 fell within our 91% bracket with this high, as you can see in February. The NASDAQ, here's what happened from our detailed top calling from September 26, 2024 at 5:50 a.m. The NASDAQ 100 fell within our 82% bracket with its highs. Conclusion, we forecast the highs that is reality as of March 17, 2025 from over 4 months ago. Number three, our sell signals. We got a sell signal at 22,132.71 for the NASDAQ. For the S&P 500, we got two sell signals, 6134.50 and 6114. For the Dow, We sold DJ30 December highs, and after rallying off of January 2025 low, sold again February 2025 highs. As you can see on the chart. It's fine to talk about the markets are going to move down, and there are many who have offered a coming downturn or jumped on the bandwagon that such was to happen. Yet it is important that when you're taking credit for something in this manner, that you're able to not only talk about coming market action, but show that your talk has been backed up by actions that reveal your commitment to your market bias, or that you aren't trying to appear as if your projection has come true without documentation to back up your thesis. We wanted to make sure that we were not found guilty of such, and to exhibit our forecast showing, before the markets decline, our path of truth. It is easy to see the trees that make up the forest, and it's even easier to see the forest that's made up of trees. But it's not so easy to see behind the forest. Get your Rambo today. RJTICHARTS.com, driven by infinite wisdom and its proprietary trading systems.